Good evening, guys, girls. We have Brian, we have Tim, and yours truly, Rob. Three of us here tonight. Keith and Harris have other commitments going on tonight. Got their picks already right here. So we will be ready to rock and roll in just a moment. Let's go back and look at uh, last week's college. And what did we do? Harris, Tim, Brian all got two right. Keith got three. Rob got five. Over and unders. Rob, Brian, Keith got three over unders. Harris got four, and Tim got five over unders correctly last week. Couple of blowouts. Miami wins in a big blowout, and nobody took them. South Carolina, big blowout over A&M. Brian got them. SMU, they blew out Pittsburgh, where Rob and Keith got that one. Close game, Ohio State, Penn State. Oregon blows Michigan off the field. Rob, Tim, and Keith gets that one. Tight ball game with Texas Tech and Iowa State. Harris, Rob got that one. And the Ohio State, they ended up pulling off the win by more than 4 points. I got that one. Army Air Force. None of us got that one. Air Force kept it within the 23 points, 23 and a half. So they took care of business. Indiana blew Michigan State off the map. So that's what happened there.
And straight up, Rob, you won straight up 6-2 in the colleges.
Okay.
Keith was 6-2. Brian and Tim were 5-3.
All righty. We have now this week. Let's see, Tim, you with us?
Yep.
All right. We just don't have your camera. It's all right. He may be eating or something, but that's all right. First off, we're going to lead off with Miami of Florida. The Hurricanes, 13-point favorites this week. Heading to Georgia Tech, 63.5. Go with it, Brian.
I don't see Miami. I know the ratings came out, but I don't see Miami as a championship caliber team. Don't think their defense is good enough for one thing. If you're going to do this game, you're going to have to wait for see if Haynes King, the quarterback for Georgia Tech, is playing. He is kind of doubtful. He's missed the last two games. Let's see. Georgia Tech has the 8th worst pass rush, and I've got Miami winning this game 38-24. So that's Miami, and then under the total.
38-24. Oh, yeah. Way under the total. 10.
Well, we saw that Miami could turn it on in the second half. So let's hope they can play two halves, which I think they will. I don't think Georgia Tech's running that triple option, but then again, what have they really shown since week one? So I'll say Miami 47, Georgia Tech 20.
So you're going to go over the total. Harris went under the total here. Keith went under the total as well here. Don't have their scores, the actual scores, but I do have them going under the total. Yeah, I like Miami in this ball game. I just think Georgia Tech's just outclassed here. I really do. Georgia Tech has had flashes of being decent. Flashes of being decent. It's not going to take down a top 25 team, a top 20 team. I actually think Miami is a pretty good team. I got them winning 34-13, and I'll go under the total. I'll take Miami straight up. Next game is Oklahoma, the Sooners, heading to Missouri. This game, we're going with the original odds, but this is crazy, man.
Yeah,
this was Monday's odds. Monday's odds was 2.5. Missouri was favored. Right now, if you look at it right now, some places have Oklahoma favored by 3 points in this ball game, which is absolutely bonkers. It's crazy, but we're going to go with the 2.5 that Missouri is favored by. Okay, Missouri, the Monday line of 2.5, and we will go with Tim. 42.5.
Yeah, you're talking about one of the teams that was expected to be a playoff team that's come very disappointing. Then again, Oklahoma's not done so well either this year. Is the game in Oklahoma?
It's in Missouri.
Missouri.
And 2.5. We got Missouri favored 2.5. Is the way we got it.
I see this being tight, possibly low scoring. I'll say like Oklahoma 17, Missouri 16.
17-16. So you will take Oklahoma and the under. All right. Harris decided he went with the favorite here, Missouri, and went with the over in this ball game. Keith went with Missouri, and he takes the over in this ball game. Rob is kind of undecided here, but I'll tell you what. Missouri has played like garbage the last 3 weeks. They have played like they do not belong on a football field, much less a top 25 field. Oklahoma goes to Maine. They played Maine last week. I mean, what can you make of that? Yeah, they blew them off the field by 48 points or more. They blew them off the field. But I can't go by a team that can beat Maine 1 week, and then when you play Texas, you fold over like a tent. Oklahoma, to me, are frauds. I'm going to take Missouri in this ball game, 27-17. I'm going to go with the over as well. Brian.
Well, Missouri's fallen off the cliff because of the injury to their quarterback, Cook, and then they also didn't have their main running back, Noel. Cook has an injured hand, and he is doubtful for this coming week. And I think that's the reason why we had a big shift in the line. The backup quarterback is Drew Pine, who played 5 games at Notre Dame. And when he came into the game against Alabama, he had the look of a player who had not been getting any reps at all. He was not ready to play. But Missouri is coming off a bye, so maybe they've addressed that. The backup running back in Missouri is decent, but we got to see something out of the backup quarterback if Cook can't go. If Cook can go, I like Missouri's chances because he doesn't turn the ball over and he's a pretty tough kid. But I've got Missouri 24 and OU 21.
All right, 24-21. Brian will go with Missouri and the over. All right. Coming to me now. The Washington Huskies. They've been a pesky bunch over the years. But with a new coach, let's see what's happening. Plus, they're not a very good team right now. Heading to Penn State. This is going to be the whiteout game Saturday night. 13.5 points is what Penn State is favored by. 45 and a hook. And Keith, he is taking Penn State. I'm sorry. He's taking Washington and the points. So he's going to take Washington and go under the total here. Harris is running with Penn State. He says they're going to cover and over the total. Man, all I can say is this. Penn State had better show up offensively this week, or they may be looking at 3 or 4 losses before the end of the season. Last week was the first time in 12 years that they didn't score an offensive touchdown in the ballgame. They can't do that this week. They just cannot have that happen. Washington's a good defensive team. They're sound. But I think Penn State may score a couple on defense or special teams. I think that'll help them get out of things. Plus, it's supposed to be a little windy Saturday night up in Happy Valley. 34-12. I'm going to go with the over here. 46 points is 45.5. I'm taking Penn State 34-12 over the Huskies. Brian.
Well, Penn State got off to a decent start against Ohio State. They had the pick 6 and the field goal. But I think that dumb taunting penalty was kind of a turning point in that game. Ohio State took that in for a touchdown from there. Penn State is up against it. I think they're still rated 7th or something like that, which I think might be a little high. They're a little outclassed by Ohio State's receivers. I've got Penn State beating Washington though. 29-17.
So you'll take Washington, 29-17, 46, and you'll just go just a half point over the total. Tim.
Yeah. You're hoping that Penn State possibly learned something from that game. They get up for these whiteouts. So it's going to be a windy. Expect the ball to be on the ground a little bit. So I'm not expecting that many points. I'll say 23-13 Penn State.
And so you'll take Washington and the under. All right. Next one coming to Brian. We got the Michigan Wolverines. Loser of 4 ball games already this year. It's crazy. Heading to Indiana. It doesn't get any easier for them. Indiana, a 14-point favorite at home, 48.5. Brian.
Michigan has one of the best 2 or 3 defensive lines in the country, but when you get past that defensive line, the back 7 are highly suspect. Indiana, I've seen parts of about 4 of their games, and I'm extremely impressed. Even if Michigan gets pressure on Indiana's quarterback, Rourke, his pass rating is the same for when he's under pressure and when he's not under pressure. So he can deal with pressure. Everybody's talking about Indiana's 103rd ranked schedule, which is weak, but they can only play the people that are in front of them, and they have certainly taken care of business. They've blown them all out.
Yep.
So they got Michigan coming, then they got Ohio State. That's where we find out where Indiana is, and I think Indiana is an elite team. I think they're up there. I've got Indiana beating Michigan pretty easily, 34-18. Their receivers just they're going to put Michigan's secondary in a blender. It's going to be something to behold, I think.
So Brian goes Indiana in the over. Tim.
Yeah, at this point, Indiana's playing for a playoff spot, and they know it, and they're gaining confidence every week. Meanwhile, Michigan's losing confidence every week. So I'll say it's going to be Indiana 38, Michigan 13.
38-13. And that will be another over for Tim. Now, this one right here, let's see. Yeah, I messed up there. 38-13. That's what, 53?
51.
38, 13. Yeah, 51. It'll be over. All right. Yeah, I got you. This one right here, Keith is and Harris. Both are taking Indiana straight up. But with the 14 points, they're getting Michigan. So they're both on the Michigan side of things, but they both think Indiana is going to win this game. Well, I said Harris does. I think Keith said he thought so too. Keith might have took Michigan, but he didn't give me a score. I wish he would give me a score sometime. May have to insist on that. But Harris told me straight up, he says he thinks Indiana wins but does not cover. Rob's not going to tell you that. Rob's going to tell you that Indiana is going to control this game from the start of the whistle to the end, last whistle, 37-6. I don't think Michigan scores a touchdown this week. I'll go under the total given to us this week. Tim, Georgia, a 2.5-point favorite going to Ole Miss, 54.5.
And I can see why this would be a low total for Georgia, especially with the way that Jackson Dart's been darting the ball all over the field. Probably think that the defense maybe for Georgia's a little weak. You know what? I think Georgia will win this game, but not by that 2.5-point margin. I say it's going to be 31-30 Georgia.
31-30. So Tim will take Ole Miss, and he will go with the over. Harris doesn't think Georgia's going to have a problem here. Georgia, he's taking Georgia and the under here. And Keith is taking Ole Miss in the over. He's seeing an upset. And I agree with one of them.
Huh.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Keith here. I like Ole Miss. Don't the kid from Georgia's throwing the ball to way too many times to the other team. He's got 5 interceptions the last 2 ball games. 3 last week, nearly killed him. And I'll tell you, he cannot keep doing that. Ole Miss, yeah, they're playing kind of house money here. I think I really do. People see Georgia, they see the big monster. Georgia takes its 2nd loss of the year, 22-21. I got Ole Miss winning this ball game outright, and I'm going under the total. Brian.
Okay. Jackson Dart threw the ball over 500 yards. Had a bunch of touchdowns last week, 5 touchdowns versus Arkansas. So, I think in the trenches, this is going to be a heavyweight fight. Georgia also has a defensive line. Ole Miss has Georgia's got a good offensive line. Ole Miss has a very good defensive line. So I think it's going to be a heavyweight fight, but I do think points are going to be scored. I'm not, thinking that both the defenses are going to have a trouble. I got the upset also. I've got Ole Miss 29-28.
Wow. So I took Georgia by a point, and then you guys took Ole Miss by a point.
And I think Keith might have took Georgia maybe by 3 or something. It was just by just a little bit. So
should be a good game.
Yeah, Brian's going to go over the total. Okay. All right. We leave one SEC game and just, hey, Rob, let's just take another one on. Alabama, they're 2.5-point favorites going to LSU. Brian Kelly's in the hot seat right now. He said a couple of things this week probably should not have been said, and it may end up getting him fired before it's over with. And some things are just better left unsaid. And Brian Kelly is going to learn, I think, but it may be the hard way. Alabama, 2.5-point favorites, 58 and a hook. Harris likes Bama, and he's going under the total here. Keith outright likes LSU to win this ball game. He's going under the total right here. Man, I think this one's going to be another just knockdown, drag out. Milroe does not thrill me. Jalen Milroe, he makes a lot of mistakes, but LSU as a team has been making a lot of mistakes. They've been fumbling the football. They've just been giving the ball away too many times and too many ways. I don't know what the weather's going to be like in LSU. That's always an issue because a lot of times you see a lot of late field goals get kicked wide left and wide right. And that has to concern both teams here. But I think this could be just a barn burner. I really do. I'm taking Alabama to cover these points, 30-27. That's really covering a 2.5-point spread, but that's the best I can do. I'm not going to throw it any more than that. 30.
What's the time on that game?
What time are they going to play?
Yeah,
I want to say that's another Saturday night game.
Okay,
I'm not sure.
No, all right, that's fine.
I think it's 7 o'clock. I think it's LSU night game. Hold on, I'll find out. Alabama, I got it right here. Alabama LSU football game. 7:30.
Yeah, night game.
Night game. Okay.
All right.
So it'll be a 6:30 start, but it'll be dark.
Yep.
LSU plays well at night too, but something just tells me Alabama shows up for this one. 30-27. I'm taking Bama, and I'm going under the total of 58.5. I forgot to tell you guys that. Brian.
As it stands, there is a third factor that's going to show up for this one. That's the tropical storm Raphael. Baton Rouge is right in the middle. So it's going to be wet, windy, rain. Hopefully there won't be lightning and they can play the game. But I'm just not too sure what that's going to be. LSU struggles to run the ball. I mean, Kelly should not be running his mouth. He needs to focus on figuring out a running game. I've got Alabama beating LSU 28-25.
28-25. That is under the total too. Then, yeah.
And Tim, you picked to win the game. Who's?
But he hadn't picked it.
I picked it.
Oh, yeah, picked it. Okay.
Yeah. So we're looking about 72 degrees, 70% chance of rain, but not that much rain to fall. So this is in Baton Rouge. So the other parts of Louisiana might get more than Baton Rouge.
Yeah, because this is northern part of Louisiana. Yeah.
But yeah, these games are usually very low scoring or in the 20s. So I'll say Alabama 24, LSU 20.
24-20. You will take Alabama, my friend, and you will go under the total. Last college game of the week, but not least, BYU undefeated still, a 5-point favorite, going to Utah. Utah with 4 losses already and only a 5-point dog. Rivalry 41.5. Brian. The Holy War.
Yeah, it's a renewal of a rivalry that's not been played for a while, but it's back. And BYU right now has the inside track to win the Big 12 tournament. They got an impressive 3-point win over SMU early in the season. Utah, the running back Mike Bernard carries the load for their offense. They're still deciding between 2 quarterbacks, and I'm not sure if they said which one's playing yet. But I got BYU winning this game fairly easily, 33-18 over Utah.
33-18. Brian will take BYU in the over. Tim.
I think it's because it's a rivalry game. I keep this game a little closer, but I still think BYU's the better team. I'll say 28-23 BYU.
28-23. That's going to be another over for Tim.
That would be a push, I think.
Okay, so I'll say
No. 28-23. That's 51.
no, push on the line.
On the line. 5 points.
Oh, that's right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'll go 28-24 then.
So you'll take Utah.
Yeah.
All right. 28. Thank you, bud. So it will be Tim and the over. Keith has decided to take Utah. I think he said they may win straight up. He's going with the under in this ball game. Harris was very, very adamant. I think BYU wins. We looked at some of the back numbers of Utah. 3 different quarterbacks this year. It's just not been good for Utah. He went with the over with BYU. I look at it. I'm going over the total, and BYU's just about going to pull that themselves. 40-3 is what I've got as a score. BYU pounding Utah. Utah does not get 150 yards in this ballgame. How about that? So we're going to go over the total. All right.
Rob, on the colleges, I missed Keith and Harris's picks for Utah or for Miami, Georgia Tech, straight up.
Miami, Georgia Tech. We got Keith is taking Miami, and he's going under the total. And we got Harris, and he's going under the total with Miami as well. So everybody right there went with Miami. Good?
Yeah.
All right. NFL lines this week. Harris, Brian, and Rob, we all won 7 games each. Keith and Tim, 9 games each. Over and under this week, Tim and Brian got 6. Keith got 7, Rob got 8, and Harris got 9 with the over-unders this week. We will get to our locks in just a little bit. All righty.
In our straight ups, Keith and Brian were 11-4. Tim was 11-4, and Rob and Harris were 10-5. We're doing a lot better on our straight up.
Yeah,
picks
we're
than
starting
the
to
year
warm
started.
into it. We're starting to get to it. This week's what, four teams with buys? I think
Yes.
that's right. But
And I almost wanted to say my lock could be the bye week as a 1.5 point favorite against the Cleveland Browns.
and Cleveland is off this week, right?
Yes, they are. Thank God.
So they get their week to mend. Thursday night. We'll let Tim start. How about that?
Yeah.
The Bengals heading to Baltimore to play the Ravens. The Ravens are 6-point favorites, 52 and a hook.
Yeah, well, the Ravens are kind of I would think they would want to put this more into overdrive, and plus they'll have another week with the receiver they got from Carolina. I just think they'll get too much pressure. They'll control the ball. I'll say the Ravens win this one. Let's go 28-16.
28-16, 44.
Yep.
Tim takes the Ravens and the under. Keith says, I think he likes the Bengals to win it. I mean, the Ravens to win it, but he don't think they can win by 6. So he's taking the Bengals and the over. Harris, he says it's going to be a blowout. He's taking the Ravens and the over. I'm going to go with the Ravens in this ball game. Can I have some water, please?
Sure.
All right, thank you. I'm just
Have a
gonna,
cup?
I got a cup right here. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to go with the Ravens in this ball game.
Here's a cup.
Huh?
There's a cup.
Oh, is that a cup?
Yeah.
31-20. I'm taking the Ravens to win this ball game. I will go with the under as well. The Bengals, you know where I stand with the Bengals. I'm not impressed by them. Another loss on their way down to last place. Brian.
Running back Zach Moss is on the IR for Cincinnati, so they picked up Khalil Herbert from the Bears. Herbert's a decent back, but he's not what they had last year in Mixon. Lamar was – I watched that Ravens game last week. Lamar was pinpoint accurate, and Denver could not cover Zay Flowers. Baltimore can really impressively blow some teams out. This is going to be a semi-blowout because Burrow is playing pretty well. I got Baltimore 33-21.
I went 31-20, so 33-21. That's 44? No.
That's 54.
54.
54.
So you, Brian, will go Ravens and over. All right. Sunday, we have got this gigantic matchup going on in Germany. I tell you what, the NFL should be proud of themselves for this one because I guess they're like this. Any money we can get from Europe, we will take because guess what? We wouldn't get many American people's money for this one. It just wouldn't be a good one there. Giants 4.5-point favorites playing the Panthers in this ball game, and I just say why. I don't understand it at all. This is just one that kind of makes my head scratch a little bit, but I think the Giants will win the ball game. They're not covering 4.5 points now. 21-20. I'll take the Giants, and I will go with the under. Harris, I'm sorry. I'm taking the Panthers side then. I'm sorry. 21-20. The Giants win. I'll take the Panthers and the under. Harris is taking the Panthers in the under. He thinks the Giants win this ball game, but they don't cover 4.5. Keith's got the confidence in Giants to cover this game. So Keith goes with the under, and he takes the Giants. So Keith with the Giants, me and Harris both going with the Panthers, and everybody's under. Go for it, Brian.
Okay. Last year there was a lot of excitement in the game in Germany. It was. I think the Chiefs played that. I think it was Miami and the Chiefs. It's
Right.
kind of fun to watch all the multiple different NFL jerseys in the crowds and stuff for those games. I can't see a whole lot of excitement in this game, like you guys said. The Daniel Jones got his first touchdown pass, not one but two, at home in a couple of years last week. Carolina, I think they're going to lose this. I got the Giants covering barely. I'm not confident about it, but I got the Giants 24-19.
24-19. He'll take Brian will take the Giants, and he's going over the total of 43. Tim,
Yeah, for both teams to get 30 points would be a dang miracle. And the Giants put up 22 on the Commanders, but then again, is it going to be if Carolina beats you, sort of like the 70s Bucks? If you lose to the Buccaneers, you get fired the next day.
it could happen. Dayball could be in line.
I mean, but I think the defensive line for the Giants helps them win this game. And to be fair, I mean, Hubbard's a good little running back, but they don't have anything in the passing game. That being said, I think the Giants only win this by a field goal. 27-24.
27-24. So he takes the Panthers in the over. All right. Next game on the schedule, which is coming back to the U.S. to play this one. The Patriots heading to Chicago to play the Bears. Bears 7-point favorites at home, 39.5. A hefty 39.5. Go for it, Brian.
Well, last week I said Chicago responds well after a loss. I was dead wrong. They went into a 6-3-2 against the spread after a loss. And there's some heat on that coaching seat in Chicago with Eberflus. A lot of complaining about putting all their eggs in an offensive quarterback's basket, and they got a defensive coach. So they're going to probably end up firing him and bringing in somebody else and start all over again next year. I got Chicago, though, winning this one over New England 25-14.
25, 14, 39, 39.5. So Brian takes the Bears, and he'll go with the under. Tim.
Oh, I mean, both these teams are, well, I mean, Chicago's not horrible, but let's just say this. I think the Patriots have responded a little bit better since Mayo called them out. Especially battle of rookie quarterbacks. I'll go over the total. I'm going to say it's at least going to be in the 40s for the total. Wow. Anyway, I'll take the Patriots. Actually, I'll take the Patriots to cover the spread. I think the Bears may win, but I think the Patriots cover.
You got a score?
Let's say 23-20.
23-20. So you'll go over with the Patriots. But you say the Bears win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Hey, I'm right there with you. I like your Bears in this ball game 20-15. So that means I'll take your Patriots and I'll go under the total. Harris likes the Bears straight up in this ball game, and he's going under the total. Harris is. Keith, he thinks both offenses are going to come out here and show up for this game. He's taking the over here. He's taking the Bears and the over. So he thinks more than 40 is going to get scored in this game. All right. Was it Tim's turn?
Yep.
Yeah.
Tim, we got the 49ers. 5.5-point favorites coming back to the East Coast again to play the Buccaneers. I'll tell you what, without their wide receivers, they're still a rugged little bunch here. 5.5-point favorites for the Niners, 48.5.
McCaffrey is going to try to give it a go.
Yeah, and
They got Samuel and they don't have Ayuk back, do they?
no, but they got somebody on the defense coming back too, or something. I heard something about they got one of their defensive players. I want to say he's a defensive back. Yeah, like a knee injury. But I think he's back.
Yeah, I think the 49ers will put together a scheme to try to that will confuse Baker, especially if they can. I'll say they can put 8 men in the box, but they don't really need to do that because running games are not great. But then McCaffrey's back there, you might as well. I think the 49ers will win this. They're 7?
5.5 is it?
5.5. Okay, then I say they'll win by 7. Then the score. Let's go 27-20.
27-20 is 47. He will go with the Niners, and he will take the under. All right, first off, I'll give you Keith. Keith is going to take you Bucks. And he said he thinks there's a chance they could even straight up maybe win this game, but he thinks Niners probably win this game. He went with the under. Harris, did I give you the Bears and the Patriots with Harris?
Yes, you did.
I did. Yeah. And Harris actually thought he picked the Bears straight up to win that game. Yeah. Harris likes the Niners in this game, and he's going with the under the total. I'm like this about it. The Bucks have played tough, but the Niners, people count them out every week, and they're still a game out of first place or right there at first place. This division's really, really tough. I like the Niners in this ball game straight up too, 30-17. I'm going with the under here just barely, but I will take the Niners in this ball game. Ryan.
Yeah, everything changes when CMC is in there for San Francisco. He scored a red zone touchdown in the Super Bowl against us, and so much can hinge on him and Debo being in the game at the same time, and Kittle. They're getting their full complement back. Well, that being said, I thought Tampa Bay played a terrific game last Monday night. They brought a great run scheme. They're the only, other than when Lamar Jackson ran on us in Week 1, nobody's been able to run on us. But they had some really creative blocking schemes and runs for us and gave us a lot of trouble. Now, Rachaad White, they might have mentioned it on the broadcast, he played at Center High School, number 1, about 10 miles south of Arrowhead Stadium. Kind of an interesting story with him. There's a guy who became a big brother to him, came from kind of a poor family 17 years ago. And they've stayed together. They talk to each other every day. I like Tampa Bay's to come back. I looked up how teams do the week after they play the Chiefs, wondering if it was like a year when San Francisco beat everybody up and they always lost the next game. That's not been the case for teams playing the Chiefs this year. There's been a few of them that win a game. I don't think Tampa Bay is going to win a game, but I do think they're going to show up at home. I got San Francisco winning 27-26, 1-point win. So I'm taking Tampa, I guess. But San Francisco to win the game.
And you'll go over the total. All right. Coming to me now. Broncos. They're heading to Kansas City to play the Chiefs. Chiefs play home every week, so they're home all 17 weeks. It seems like it anyway. It always seems like the Chiefs are playing at home. Chiefs 9.5-point favorites. 42 is the total. Keith says the Chief bandwagon does not blow up here. They're going to keep on rolling, and he's going to go over the total. Harris likes the Chiefs, but he says they're not going to cover 9.5. He'll take the Broncos and the over. Yeah, I'll tell you, it's hard for me to buy that the Chiefs are going to play a game and the over-under is 42 and it's not going to go over. I just got to think it will. It's just too much talent on offensive side of the ball for the Chiefs. Broncos, they've showed up in their defense. Their front seven's pretty damn good. And if they're able to stop the run at all for Kansas City, this could be a real good ball game. And I really kind of think it's going to be for 3 quarters. We'll see what happens. I'm going to give the Broncos a benefit of a doubt here. I'm taking the Chiefs to win this ball game, but I'm going to take the Broncos side of the ball here. 24-20, the Chiefs win, and I will go over. But so I'll be taking the Broncos in the over in this ball game. Brian, go for it.
I love these division games because they're twofers. You know, if you get a win, you put a loss on somebody else in your divisions. And Andy Reid thinks the same way about his division games, and I think he puts a little bit more attention on division games. Xavier Worthy, our number 1 draft pick, is not ready yet, and it's kind of not unexpected. It's hard. Chiefs receiving offense is kind of complicated, and more often than not, when we brought new receivers in that are young, it takes them a year to kind of figure out what's going on. Not so with D-Hop. Hopkins is plugged right in. He has already got a connection with Mahomes, and that was outstanding. The Chiefs need to find a cornerback, but I think they've got him on the roster. They just have to find out which one it is and get him ready to play by the playoffs. I see us getting a lot of pressure on Bo Nix. And I know they've had some success stopping a run, but they didn't last week. And I looked at them last week. They weren't playing with leverage. They were a little light in the pants, and they were getting pushed around last week. So that's not a recipe for stopping Kansas City's run game. Between the tackles, you better have some big people in there. Vita Vea for Tampa Bay played a great game Monday night. He's a mountain of a guy. But Denver didn't have Vita Vea on their defensive line. I've got Kansas City winning this game. I almost never pick them to cover, but I think they're going to cover this one because they're kind of getting their offense plugged in now. It's 27-14. I got Kansas City winning the game.
All right. Brian will take Kansas City, and he's going under the 42 for the total. Tim.
Yeah, I think it's another 1 to 2 touchdown game for D-Hop and maybe another touchdown to Kelsey. I'll take the Chiefs 30, the Broncos 13.
At his advanced age, he had a 14-catch game, which is a career high for him.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We going next to the Bills. They're 4.5-point favorites. Going to the Colts. And they are going to stick with
Old man Flacco.
They're going to stick with Flacco. 47.5. Brian.
Well, Flacco's completed 64% of his passes, where Richardson was at 44%. I know the coach got criticized for sitting Richardson. They say he's got to play to learn. I don't believe that. You can learn other ways. Buffalo scored 30 or more points for 3 straight weeks. They scored 30 or more the first 3 weeks this season. Hit a little lull, and now they're back in sync. They're still playing. Buffalo's still playing for a home field advantage. You know, they're only 2 losses. Allen's over 2,000 yards passing already, and 17 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Those are numbers that Mahomes would be happy to have, especially now. So I got Buffalo winning this game 24-17 over Indiana.
All right. 24-17 will be 41. So you'll take the Bills, and you will go under the total. All right. Go for it, Tim. He must be on mute.
We lost your sound, Tim.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, that's better.
All right. Spam call.
Bills 4.5, Colts.
Yeah, Bills should cover this. They should easily win by a touchdown. I'll say they win by 2. 28. Actually, they will win by a little less than 2. 28-17.
28-17. And Tim will go with the under. All right. Harris took a Colts in this ball game. Straight up, he likes the Bills. But he took the Colts in the points. And he said over. Keith, he likes the Bills to cover, no problem, and go over the total. I didn't cheat off Brian's paper. Brian said, what, 24-17?
Yeah.
23-17. I'm right there with you. I'll go the Bills, and I'll go under the total. All right. Going to Tim. We got the Steelers heading to the Commanders. And this one kind of surprised me. The Commanders 2.5-point favorites in this ball game. 45. Tim.
I got a feeling that the Steelers' defensive line might throw some things at the Commanders that they haven't quite seen, or maybe not. They'll probably be ready for it, but still, I don't know if they'll be able to stop it or not. Plus, the offenses looked fantastic with Russell Wilson. This one game won't be a blowout, but they also not done. They beat the Browns, but then everybody beats the Browns. But they lost to the Ravens, and I think they'll lose to the Steelers. I'll say Steelers 26, Commanders 18. Yep.
All right. 26-18, that's 44. He going under. Tim is.
Mm-hmm.
Keith likes the Steelers in this ball game. He just said the Commanders can't keep up. He's taking the Steelers and going under the total. Keith is. Harris, no. Straight up likes the Commanders to win this ball game. He's going under the total. And now I'm starting to think people are looking at my paper.
26-17.
26-17. And guess what? We have a guest.
Michael. Oh.
There's Michael.
Greetings from beautiful,
Hey, he's in the hospital.
beautiful time. I'm in better shape than Jerry.
Especially in your mind.
My dear.
How you doing, my friend?
I'll
How you
figure
doing,
this
my
out
friend?
Eventually.
You doing good? You're fine. You are doing fine. Huh? He's eating too. I like
I'm
you.
doing okay.
All right. Push your camera down just a notch.
He's
Get him to push your camera down.
Gotta
just a
go.
little
Gotta
bit.
go. I'll be back.
That's cool.
Where's the consent forms I left with you there?
He says he's gotta go.
Okay. All right. That's cool.
The forms that the lady.
A
brought.
tease, folks.
All I
A
have.
tease.
Oh, you guys signed it? Yes. Oh, I love that. You signed it. Oh, you signed the papers. Okay.
I thought he was-
Yes, we have one more there.
Nope, he's still on. Okay.
All right.
The consent is signed. Thank you. Okay. Did
We
you
see
do the
something
flu
we're not
vaccine
supposed to
this
see.
year?
We'll pop him off of here.
No, not yet.
Not yet. Do you want a flu vaccine?
No.
No. How about COVID vaccine? No.
No.
Okay, we don't want that.
We'll wait.
We'll wait.
Hello,
Okay.
nurse.
Couple of questions. Does he have a medical power attorney?
We
Yes.
will
That you?
Yes.
Look at you.
I have the paperwork in the car.
Okay, I don't need it.
I know, but I'm just
If he
saying
wants
we
to
do.
knock
and-
himself off of here.
How about a living bill?
Yes.
Right, okay.
let's
All right, I
see.
think that's all the questions. Fine.
Tim,
Okay, let me double check all the questions. You can use
Tim, you
that.
took your
Get it
Steelers
off.
and you went out there.
Yeah, that's
26-18.
Yeah.
26-18. You just saw. You
Yeah,
just
more
saw
caring than you.
26-17.
I'm more caring than.
So I'm taking the Steelers, and I'm going under the
Well,
total
he
as
just
well.
wants me to go because he's got his. Oh,
And
do you
Brian?
need to know?
Go for it.
Okay, Pittsburgh is the veteran against the youngin. Russell Wilson against Jalen Daniels. Wilson's had 2 good weeks, but it's 2 good weeks. It's kind of a small sample size. Washington picked up Lattimore from New Orleans.
Saints.
Chiefs wanted Lattimore, but they didn't get him. I've got Washington upsetting Pittsburgh. Well, I guess it's not an upset. They're favored by 2.5. Washington 24-19.
24-19. Brian has the Commanders winning and going under the total. All right. Coming to me now. Got the Vikings, 4.5-point favorites, going to this hotbed of a mess. The Jaguars. The AEW Jaguars is what I'm going to start calling them. 46.5 points is the total in this ball game. And I'm saying this, the only way this game gets 46.5 is if the Vikings put 43 on the board, and I just don't think that's going to happen. So I'm going under the total. I'll put that, make it known right off the bat. This Jags team's got so many holes. I mean, they could call them the Jacksonville Swiss cheese. They got a lot. They got a lot of problems. 28-10. I'll take you Vikings in this ball game. I will go under the total. Keith, he took you Vikings in this ball game. He's going over the total. He says he thinks there's going to be a lot of scoring in this game. Harris, he took you Vikings in this ball game and went over the total as well. We won't change things too much here. We'll leave Tim going next. So go for it, Tim.
Yeah. So, all right. Forgive me. What was this game? I'm sorry.
Vikings 4.5, Jags.
Yeah. Okay. So you would hope that the Vikings would have a bounce back week over. I think the Lions do that to a lot of teams, but I think Justin Jefferson runs wild here.
They beat the Colts last week, though. They played the Colts.
Oh, they played the Colts. Okay.
Yeah, they won.
They won. Okay. So then the winning streak will continue. I'll say Vikings 30, Jaguars 17.
Oh, okay. So you will take the Vikings and over by 0.5 point. How about that? Any other half points, I'm not telling you. Any other half points, I'm not telling you because I'm like, guess what? You're not going to trip over yourself with that. So we get close to, trust me, we get close to those half points a lot of times. Brian.
Firing season's already started in the NFL, and there are burn marks on Doug Peterson's pants. I think he's going to get fired somewhere here along the line. I don't think, though, on his team, I don't think he's necessarily a unpopular coach because he's still playing pretty hard. They just don't have enough talent, and the quarterback's not playing well. I've got the Vikings 27-21.
27-21. Brian will go to Vikings and the over. On to Tim now. Tim, we got the Falcons. 3-point favorites. Heading to New Orleans in the Dome, so they don't have to worry about the weather. 48.
They wouldn't have to worry about it either way anyways. Yeah, let's just face it. The Falcons are playing a ton of confidence. Saints aren't. And there's bickering and other things going on. And I still don't think a new offense. Saints fired their offensive coordinator, right?
They fired a coach.
Fired the coach. Okay, another team fired their offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Raiders.
Offensive coordinator was the Raiders.
Raiders, that's right.
Yeah.
I still don't think
their special coach coordinator.
Yeah, is the head coach.
Yeah.
He's their head coach.
That. Give me the Falcons to win by, let's say 9. Let's go 30-21.
30-21. Tim takes Falcons, and he will go over the total. Keith, took the Falcons, and he went under the total this week. Harris took the Falcons. He went over the total this week. And I'm going to go over the total as well. But, man, I'll tell you what. How often does a coach get fired and the team plays for the other guy? It just happens that way. I don't know why. I don't know if they hated Dennis Allen or if they liked Dennis Allen. It doesn't sound like a lot of good was going on down there. But I just think they're going to show up this week, but they're not going to win. I'm sorry. 3 points, I'll give that up. 27-23, Falcons take care of business, and we'll go over the total. Brian.
Atlanta won the first game. They played 24-14. They won 5 of 6. Like you said, they're playing with a lot of confidence. The one thing they need on that team, though, is to put more pressure on the quarterback. They're 20th in rushing the passer. New Orleans has lost 7 straight, but they're getting back Carr, 68% passer, 9 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. New Orleans is kind of wasting Kamara's year. Kamara's having a Kamara-type year. He's having a good year, but New Orleans is kind of wasting it. I have the Falcons 30, Atlanta 18.
30-18. That's right on 48.
30-17.
30-17. 30-17. You're going with the Falcons and the under. Uh-huh. Gotcha. All right. We'll go to Tim now. Tim, we got the Titans going to the Chargers. We'll make that trek across the country. Chargers are 8.5-point favorites in this ball game. 38 is it. Go for it, bro.
Yeah, because they probably think that the Chargers will score all the points. And I kind of agree with them. So I will take, and I think this might be a shutout. Chargers 24, Titans nada.
24-0. All right. Chargers and the under. Brian.
I think it's kind of hard to shut teams out, or at least harder than it's been when everybody's starting on the 30-yard line instead of the 25. Seems like you complete a pass, get a nice run,
Getting field goal.
and the field goal kickers are getting better. So I think there might be a few field goals in this game. I got the Chargers 27-9.
No, you didn't. All right. Y'all just keep reading my paper. That's fine. Chargers. Brian going 27-9, going under. Keith's taking the Chargers in this ball game. He's going over the total in this game. Harris is taking the Chargers in this game, and he's going over the total. Rob's going to show his paper once more. You said 27-9?
Yeah.
$28-9. I will take the Chargers in this ball game, and I will go under the total. Okay, now we're going to Brian.
Yeah, this is probably too much light, but that's mine. I wrote mine down, I think, on Monday.
Yeah, I had mine Monday evening too. Yeah, and then like I said, I haven't had shows.
Must
but
be telling. Yeah, we must have been doing it at the same time, and it was just.
Yeah. All right. Does anybody match scores this week? We still got 4 more chances. Let's see if it happens. Jets, we got them going to the Cardinals this week. It's pretty much a pick 'em game. Cardinals a 1-point favorite in this ball game. 45 and a hook. Brian.
Last week the Jets went into the darkness and they came out on the field. No, they're all black jerseys. Their first half was the worst football I think I've seen ever, but they came back in the second half. Oh, that one guy kept running for an easy touchdown and then dropped the ball right off the goal line. Just crazy things.
Yep.
Let's say the Jets are at Arizona, Arizona is putting together a pretty credible season. I like their head coach, Jonathan Gannon, better than the Jets' new head coach. So I think there's an edge there. And Kyler Murray is playing pretty good. I think he's got an edge over Aaron Rodgers. Slight edge. I'm going for the first place Cardinals to win this game 21-17.
21-17. So Brian will take the Cardinals in the under. Keith and Harris both like the Cardinals in this ball game, and they are going over the totals. Each one is. I'm like this about this ball game. I'm kind of split and torn. You know how I pick on the little midget, but I know I like him at home most of the time. So, there's Michael. Wonderful. You're going to eat him a little something, maybe. I'm like this, though. I just think the Giants, even though they're not playing in this game, I think the Jets will bring something to the table this week. I don't know exactly what, but I think they win this ball game. I think they're going to upset the Cardinals. I just think Aaron Rodgers is not going to sit back and just let people just beat him up. 27-17. I will take the Jets, and I'll go under the total. Tim.
Yeah, the thing they'll probably stick Sauce Gardner on Marvin Harrison Jr. So that kind of negates that threat. The running games are probably a little bit more the edge. Breece Hall versus James Conner et al. For the Cardinals. So I'll take the Jets going cross country. I know it's not the greatest, but I'll say 21-20. Jets.
21-20. Tim takes the Jets. He goes under the total. All right. Next game we got. This is a big one right here. The Eagles. Yes. The 6.5 point favorites. Heading down to Jerryland to play the Cowboys. The Eagles are 6.5 point favorites. Starts with me, I guess. Keith likes the Eagles and the over here. He says 6.5 points is not going to be a problem. Harris likes the Eagles. He's going with the Eagles and the over. So both of those guys take the Eagles and over in this ball game. I'm not. I don't know what makes me think that the Cowboys are going to play this game close, but I think it's going to be close to the vest. The Eagles quarterback he's thrown some stupid passes this year. If they gave the ball, if you knew they was going to give the ball to their running back 30 times this game, I would give the 6.5 up in a heartbeat. But they're going to throw the football, and he's going to get in some trouble. Hurts is going to get in some trouble somewhere. Eagles win this game, but they do not cover 6.5 points. 24-20. I'll take the Cowboys, but I'll go with the under. Tim.
You hope that. Well, Cooper Rush, they're hoping that he manages the game well. He can't make more bonehead decisions than Dak does all the time. And we'll see if Zeke's back from his little one-game suspension. I'm not sure that it really matters. I know one of the Eagles wide receiver left the game last week. I just think it doesn't matter. Eagles 28, Cowboys 11.
28-11. Oh, okay. So Tim will take the Eagles, and he'll go with the under. Brian.
Yeah, Ezekiel will be back, but there's no way he's going to match Quadzilla, Saquon Barkley. Barkley's going to run wild over Dallas. I don't think Dallas has any prayer stopping them. The one decent run defender that Dallas had last year, Dorrance Armstrong, they got rid of him, and there's nobody left to stop the run. one of those long touchdowns on Barkley was on a 3rd and 17. They're right on a 3rd and 17, and he scored. I love the Kelly green uniforms. I wish the Eagles would stay with those. Dallas, the horse and buggy got to the stadium, but their old-fashioned offense is not coming. They were showing. I was watching some video on them where even when they go into motion, there's sometimes the motion guy moves a defender in a place where he can't be blocked. When Jerry Jones said that they're running bad plays, I kind of laughed. But yeah, they are kind of running bad plays. Prescott and Lamb unable to finish the game. That's half of their next year's salary.
Well,
Both had
Prescott's not
MRIs.
playing. He's out.
Yeah, he's out for at least 4 weeks. He's on the IR. In Dallas, they got five division games coming up. So at this point, it's going for a high draft pick, I think, for Dallas, which they'll blow. I think Dallas loses to Philadelphia 30-17.
30-17. Brian takes the Eagles and the over. All right. Going back to Tim. And we're going to ask Mike real quick. Michael, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing okay, guys. I'm talking to you from beautiful Dallas. Gee. I can't really speak out loud too much, but I will tell you this, that you guys are talking about this stupid Eagles-Cowboys game. Here's my score. Don't even tell me what the over is. Don't even tell me what the line is. Eagles 42, Dallas 10. Done. Done. The next thing you know, the next thing you know is that Mike Zimmer's going to have to play defense for them, and they're going to have to call the Hall of Famers. You know, hello, Warren. Hello, Cooper Rush. You know, he's the quarterback now. Please, this is a disaster, and you know what? They don't care.
So whose turn was it next? I think it's Tim's. Tim's Sunday Night Football. This one got flexed in there. This was not the original game. The Lions, 4.5-point favorites, going down to Houston to play the Texans. 48 and a hook.
I think that CJ will not have another good game. Without his top two receivers, I think they will follow the Jets' little game plan that they had, and I say they will win this one. Up to 30. How about let's give them. Let's do 30 to 20.
30-20, 50. Tim will go Lions on over. Brian.
I watched the Houston game against the Jets last week, and their offensive line was getting killed, especially the left guard. His name was Green, and then he got hurt, and they put in number 53, who's also named Green, Kendrick Green, and he played great the rest of the half. I mean, he was hitting every block, and then he wore out, got tired, and he wasn't very good in the second half. Yeah. So they got some offensive line issues at Houston. Detroit's pretty thick in the middle, so I think that it's going to be a problem.
Did you eat already?
Let
me scan your ID.
The other thing that happened in that Detroit game was that targeting hit by Brian Branch. I've seen the NFL not do all that sometimes this year, but they at least they got that one. He was ejected from the game. Kirby Joseph, I think, is a new player. He's got 6 interceptions for Detroit, and they also now picked up Zadarius Smith, which I know Tim knows that. CJ Stroud's going to be under the gun this game. I've got Detroit 28, Houston 18.
28-18, 46. Brian takes Lions in the under. All right. Keith also liked the Lions and the under in this ball game. Harris says, no way. There's going to be a lot of scoring here. He's going to take Lions in the over here. Did you say 30-20, Tim?
Yes, I did.
Not too far off.
No.
33. 33-16. I'll take the Lions in this ball game, and I'll go with the under. No. I'll go on over. I'm sorry. Lions in the over. All right. And now it is time for Monday Night Football. Brian, the Dolphins, the Rams, 2.5-point favorites at home. Got to go all the way out to the West Coast, 50 and a hook. Brian.
Well, rumors died down. The Rams didn't trade anybody. They're going to try to make a run. They see if they can compete with Arizona, they can compete with Seattle, and I believe they can compete with Miami, even with Tua back. I've got the Rams 28, Miami 15.
28-15. Brian takes the Rams, and he will go under.
This has got a better running game, and Cooper Kupp is back in business.
Yeah. Harris outright likes the line. I mean, he says he likes the Dolphins in this ball game. He's taking the Dolphins and going with the under. Keith is taking the Rams and going with the under. And I am going to say this may be an overtime game. This is going to be one of those games I think could be really, really interesting. Tua always keeps you in a ball game. I don't care. We always talking about, wow, the man's one hit away from being done with his career. But as long as he's playing, he keeps you in ball games. 30-27 Rams. I will take the Rams just barely to cover and the over. Tim.
Yeah, I mean, both teams looking to find. I mean, the Rams have their mojo. The Dolphins are trying to get it back. I mean, both of these teams could light it up offensively. So, but I think the Rams take this game partially because they kind of need it, and the Dolphins are kind of meh. But I'll say 28-23.
28-23 is 51. You'll take the Rams, and you will go over. All right. We go back now for locks of the week. Locks of the week brought to you by Extremo Medicine. If you take Extremo Medicine, it can make you bleed from your nose. It can make you bleed from your ears. It can make you bleed from your eyes. It can make you bleed from your fingertips. And don't walk. Don't run. Ride. Anywhere you go, don't. If you go to Extremo, that stuff is bad for your health. I had to do that. I was watching one. I don't know what the name of the medicine was today, but I'm sitting there and it says it can cause death. And I'm thinking it can cause, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, now exactly why do I want to take this medicine? I mean, it 40 things are listed, and I'm like, good Lord.
Yeah, death or medicine. Death, medicine. Which one would I think?
Yeah, it's wild. So let's go with locks of the week. And guess what? I don't think anybody. Let's see. I got Brian first here. Got Tim second. I'll put my name third. All right. Locks of the week brought to you by that. Philly. I got the Phillies. I got the Eagles. They won by 5. They didn't cover, but they won. Keith had Minnesota, and they won by 8. They covered as well, but it didn't matter if it covered. It was just straight up. Brian takes Kansas City, and it took them overtime, but they done what they had to do.
Needed a defibrillator.
And they didn't cover, but they did win the ball game. Tim took Buffalo. Buffalo, I don't think he had a lot of problems, did they?
No, I think they went to overtime, right? No, they went the end, the 61-yard field goal.
That's right. 30-27. And, longest field goal in Buffalo Bills history. Harris took the LA Chargers. Chargers are actually playing pretty darn good football right now.
They wiped the floor with the Browns.
Yeah, they beat them around pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll start with we'll just go to Brian first. Brian, your lock of the week is?
Well, I'm looking at Philadelphia and Dallas, but Philadelphia that head coach can blow a game. And he almost blew last week's. I know people think this is going to be a in-division battle, but Baltimore gets on these streaks where they just blow people away. And I don't see any way that Cincinnati's going to shut down Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is having maybe his best ever season. I don't know if they're going to be wearing their vintage helmets and uniforms. I got Baltimore.
All right. Tim.
I will take the Minnesota Vikings over the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah. Not a bad pick there. I feel like it's got to be the coaches at the end of the coach right there. Got to feel like it's going to be pretty soon. Wow. There's a few of them here I wouldn't mind picking. I'm a little skeptical about the Bills this week. I don't know why I think the Bills may end up in a tough game, but I'm just a little bit skeptical about taking that team. So I'm gonna take the LA Chargers. I'm gonna take the LA Chargers this week. They're playing the Titans. The Titans they are. It looks like to me sometimes their offense and defensive lines play pretty good, but my goodness, it looks like when they get the ball in their hands, they just look like they're lost sometimes. It's crazy stuff. But I will take the Chargers. We'll go to Tim now. Tim, the flops of the NFL, the three teams that just right now, you are bad. Are?
Well, they took a week off, but then they redeemed themselves for the flops. The Cleveland Browns. Getting a 1 week reprieve is the Carolina Panthers because of a win.
So you're not going to keep it? You're not putting them in bottom three?
No.
Okay. So Cleveland,
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
Actually, no. Cleveland, the Vegas Raiders. Big time dumpster fire.
You get three of them. So are you going to have Jacksonville in there too?
Nope. I said, okay, so I went Cleveland. I went Jacksonville. And then I'm going with an NFC team. We will go with we'll go with the New Orleans Saints.
Gotcha. So you've got Cleveland, Jacksonville, and the Saints.
Yep.
All right. Brian.
Well, surprisingly, everybody's won at least 2 games. But yes, I think Vegas is a complete dumpster fire. I still have Carolina down there with a lack of talent. And I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are just – it's like there's no leadership there. I mean, there's no direction. And they mailed it in the offseason, and now they're getting the fruits of that. And how are they going to get out of this? Their salary cap is tied up by 2 players on long-term contracts. They're going to be in a hole for some time to come.
Yeah. My 3, obviously I got to start with the Saints. Saints, you fired your coach. You better have some kind of direction you want this team to go, or all you doing is making one change to another change. It's going to be a problem. I'm not sure this team is going to be very good, no matter who they have out there as their coach. Number 2, I will take Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville is just not a very good team. They just really aren't. They are. They just right now they're playing. They're just not playing well at all. They're just not a very, very good team at all. Third team for me, wow. I guess it's got to be the Raiders. because the Raiders, they're starting to infight. And when you start that shit, you know what's coming up soon. Somebody's head's going to roll, and generally it's not players. Coaches are going to go. That's probably the next coach to go. May not should, but it's probably going to be the fact of the matter. When you start infighting and when you start talking about your team and all, that's what can happen. Now, the Patriots coach did that. He slid by 3 weeks now. He's done slid by. They're still not a very good team, but watch out if that could turn over on him. The Browns, I think, Stefanski might be able to turn something around there before it's over with, and they may well win 5-6 games before the end of the year. It should be very, very interesting. Now we got the top 3 in the NFL. I'll go first on this one. Got to go with the Chiefs. The Chiefs are there, and boy, oh boy, every TV show I see right now, who is going to beat the Lions? We think they are the Super Bowl champ. I still don't buy that, but I will put them up in my top 3. I still think they're a very, very good team. I think they're going to be very tough to beat. We will see just how good they are. And then this game this weekend is really going to decide who the third best team I think in the NFL is. Commanders, Steelers. Do realize the Steelers are coming off a bye this week, and if they win this game, they're 7-2. I mean, think about it. This team at the beginning of the season, CBSSports.com picked this team to win 6 games. Picked them to win 6. Well, they've done that, and they've still got a half a damn season to go yet. So they covered that, no problem. Coach of the year is Mike Tomlin. Coach of the year is Mike Tomlin. You look at these 2 quarterbacks he brought in. Think about this. You could have bought him for a glass of chocolate milk last year. You really could have. Neither one of these 2 players, nobody wanted them. The Bears couldn't get rid of Fields quick enough. He came in and he played serviceable football. I'm not going to say it all. I'm not downing him at one bit. I don't like him that good, but I'm not downing him one notch because he came in there and he did what the Steelers asked for him to do. He won football games. Now they have given Russell Wilson 7 weeks to learn the system, to get healthy. And I'll tell you what, I don't know who's playing better football right now than the Steelers, getting this good offense going with a good running game and getting about 210, 220 passing yards a game. They're not asking them to go throw for 350. This defense is monstrous. They are a good team. Anybody that doesn't think they can win the AFC is nuts. Buffalo don't want to play them. Kansas City don't want to play them. And trust me, Baltimore doesn't want to play this team. This team is a real deal situation. I'm gonna put them in my top 3 ahead of Baltimore right now. That's my 3. Tim.
Yeah, I think the top 2 are the Chiefs and the Lions, just tremendous teams. But as of right now, I will take the Ravens by only that little bit over the Steelers.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong. They're playing good ball. Brian.
I like Detroit. They got Mr. Perfect at quarterback, Jared Goff. You know, the comparisons, fewer incompletions than touchdowns and all the amazing stats he's putting together. The thing about Detroit is Dan Campbell can they sustain this all year? And I think they can. I think Campbell can keep them up through the season. The other one, Buffalo, to me, is Josh Allen is having an incredible year. And when he comes in the Arrowhead or plays us up there, he does not blink. I mean, he can play. The guy is having a year, 2,001 yards, 17-2, touchdown to interception ratio. And he's got some good little receivers, that Leon, the new guy, and Shakir, and his tight end. He's got some guys to throw the ball to. The one thing there, I think we might be able to stop the running game with Cook, but and I'm not 100% sure on their defense. But they're a team that's been there, and they're a team that's still highly motivated.
Yep.
And then the Chiefs. I've got the Chiefs in my top three. It's not like we're without our problems. I said last week, we got to get our tackles up for the playoffs. But they're playing their butts off. They're doing a good job. In fact, the whole offensive line, week in and week out, is playing great. So is the defensive line. Defensive line, they struggle with the blocking schemes that they had. But, the Chiefs, they come at you so many different ways. That's why teams are having a hard time beating us. They show up. When we lose a game, it's going to be somebody you don't expect, probably, because everybody shows up. Teams that know they're not going to go to the Super Bowl, they still believe if they could beat the Chiefs, that kind of makes their season, saves the head coach's job, and probably saves
feather in the cap. Feather in the cap.
Yeah, it saves their jobs. So when we lose a game, it'll be somebody probably you don't expect, kind of like last Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
But Mahomes is having fun. Oh, and Travis Kelce, he used to always say he doesn't block. But if you saw some of those running plays last week, that man's blocking, and he's been doing this all year. He's kind of a sneaky guy. When I used to be an athletic director, we had a fullback who knew how to go into the middle. He wasn't real big, but he knew how to go into the line, not looking at the guy who's going to block, and then suddenly turn on him and nail him. Worked every time. And that's kind of Travis Kelce. He's kind of a sneaky guy with his blocking. But he pancaked he had one play where he pancaked the defensive line. He came down and he got the linebacker too. Shielded the linebacker off. So he's blocking. Everybody is chipping in what they can do. They're finding a different star every week. I've never been so encouraged in our Super Bowl years. I think this team is really good.
Yeah. Next week, Tim has got some stuff going on later in the evening. So we're thinking about maybe pushing it up, maybe 5:30 Eastern time, or between 5:30 and 6 possibly. And how does that sound, Tim, next week?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to try to meet up here maybe 5:15 Eastern time. And once we get the whole crowd in, we'll try to go with it. We may have a little bit of a condensed type meeting, but if we meet like we did today, 7:24, that'll work out for Tammy, I think he said.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we'll try to do that, guys. So if you do watch us live sometimes, generally people watch us later because they can kind of catch it at their own pace and be able to be doing something at home or whatever. We don't have a whole lot of live broadcast people to watch it. But next week, I want to invite some people to watch it live. We might have a giveaway if you can beat the Jabronis. Beat the Jabronis next week, and we may have a giveaway. So you got to be here. You got to be here. All right. For Tim, for Brian, I am Rob, Daniel Berry, Philip Reynolds, and everyone else out there in Chatland. God bless you. Michael Peterson, we're praying for you, my friend. We didn't get to talk to you a lot tonight, but every time we were going to talk to you, doctors come running into your room. So
Thank you for checking in.
I got an email from. Yep, I got an email from him, and he said that he was doing pretty good. So he was hanging in and doing all right. And I think he's got like 2 more weeks at the hospital. So looking good, and we'll be praying for you. Next Wednesday night, folks, we're going to turn the clock. We'll turn our time just up a little bit earlier in the afternoon. God bless, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.